Thanks, Bill. Well, this is the time of year when people really take a look at their health, maybe their weight, and also try to improve their weight, too.
Yeah, a lot of people are going for these whole food, plant-based diets, but while they're healthy, they can also be hard to stick to. Dr. John Lourie, cardiac specialist over in Bradenton, you have some ideas that we can use and follow to help us get through this time when, you know, we just saw the story earlier. People are heavier now than ever. So this is not, this is not healthy.
Right. We estimate that about 30% of the country may be obese now, and by 2030 it may be 50% of the country. And that's leading to a lot of chronic diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, and strokes. So it doesn't have to be difficult. You can eat a healthy meal and it still can be very flavorful.
And preventative measures are really kind of your key in your practice. What are some of the things that you suggest people eat and really kind of tackle the problem of obesity?
Well, one of the things that we know by research and looking at the way a typical American eats is that we eat probably 4 to 5 times more carbohydrates per day than we need. So I recommend a Mediterranean style of eating, which is really focusing on green leafy vegetables, whole fruits, staying away from processed carbohydrates, healthy fats and oils like olive oil, monounsaturated fatty acids, and away from saturated fats.
One thing that we were talking about, and you mentioned it earlier, Ellen, when we were in the newsroom, it's the idea of shopping around the outside of the grocery store, isn't it?
Exactly. So I tell people to stay away from the middle of the grocery store where the boxes are and the cartons, and shop the periphery. So go to the produce aisle, buy whole fruits, not fruit juices, which are typically sweetened.
But what if you love stuff like pasta?
Well,
what are you going to do?
There are good choices. There's a particular brand that I recommend called Dreamfields that has about 10 times lower carbohydrate that your body can absorb than the typical pasta. So instead of eating 50 to 100 grams of carbohydrates, you're going to eat 5 or 10. You can still have pasta.
Now, on the other side of the spectrum, though, a lot of people do, limit carbs, but then they just pack on all this protein into their diet. That's not the way, though, necessarily to go either, though, too, right?
So you need a balanced meal.
Right.
Clearly, people usually don't get enough protein, but you want it to be the lean proteins, seafood, white meats, lean red meats like pork tenderloin or filet. More seeds and nuts.
Talk about things like, and we've all heard this before, things like soft drinks and snacks like that. Not a good idea.
Well, we call it junk food for a reason, and that's because they have a lot of carbohydrates, and people need to realize that most of the carbohydrates we eat are in the form of starches, grains, flakes, breakfast cereals, crackers, breads. Right.
I like bread, though, so what are we going to do here?
Well, I tell people if it's white, don't bite it. And if you're trying to lose weight, or if you're someone heading toward diabetes or have a family history, you can eat other grains, like rye grain bread is better.
And where can people find you? Because I know you are just a wealth of information, and you really do work with people. You test their blood. You kind of see what maybe they would respond to as far as foods go, and how their body would respond. Where can we find you?
We do a detailed evaluation, including some genetic testing that really tells us if we can process certain foods. I'm in Bradenton, Florida, and Heart Attack Prevention Center is my practice. It really focuses on prevention because that's the most effective way to avoid disease.
Dr. Lourie, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming in. And again, we'll put your information on our website. And one place that you can find plenty of fresh food today is the Saturday morning market. It just opened.